Obviously, people these days want, I want the full color GUI with drop-down menus and push buttons and all the rest of the stuff. And it's like, well, that's nice, but the system I program just can't do that. So we're getting a lot of interfaces written in various PC languages, whether it's C++ or whatever. And I have no knowledge on how any of those work. I don't care. I'm kind of getting close to retirement, so I am probably going to end up having been an AS400 I-Series programmer for the entirety of my life. And that's fine by me. I don't need to learn a new thing. I've probably forgotten more that I know about IBM I-Series than most programmers ever bothered to learn. So yeah, I know a lot of very old techniques that just aren't common these days. However, I did have opportunity once to put my COBOL learning into practice. Back before Y2K, I was consulting for Scott's Levington Miracle in the UK. And they were having some issues with some EDI data that was coming in from one company. And the data was not consistent. They would, for some reason, things would happen. Turn the engine off. You are done. Okay. For some reason, and we couldn't figure out the why, where, or how reason that sometimes it was in this format, sometimes it was in this other format, and the data elements moved within the data block. And people were getting frustrated. Yeah, we need to figure out what they're telling us, and all of a sudden we don't know. So I said, well, I need to know how the data's getting to us so that I can figure out what where a data element is and what I'm supposed to do with it. And so eventually they said, oh, you're going to need to phone up this, contact the IT person in that company and, ask them how they do it. What are the defining parameters, et cetera, for their data streams. So I contacted them, and they came back of, oh, the person who wrote all this software quit 5 years ago, and it's written in COBOL, and nobody here knows how to program in COBOL. It's like, okay, send me your programs. And then I spent about a week just reading through COBOL code, trying to figure out what it was that their programs were actually doing. Eventually I figured out there were 4 data feeds that they ran, and each one produced different formatted data, but there was a single notification, shall we say. In the very first record, if byte 10 was A, then it was format 1. If it was Z, it was format 2. If it was D8, it was format 3. And working through that, I could then look up the format, figure out what the format was from the COBOL code, and write some translation software so that I could pull in their data, identify what form it was, and create entries for our data files. Only time I've ever used COBOL. in the real world, and it wasn't to program it, it was just to figure out what somebody else was doing. Okay, we are done with that. What are our tractors doing? You are doing things. You are out. You are... So I need to get in truck. And we need to go to town. But yeah, I mean, and that then leads me down the path of, and it's something I learned from my first IT team lead. Back in the 1990s, he bought himself a Dell PC. Got a really good deal on it because it came with a LaserJet 2, which were end of life. HP had just released the LaserJet 3. So people who had LaserJet 2s wanted to sell them on quickly. Outside of that, very nice PC. So he said, oh, you need to come round. He bought X-Wing, which, quite frankly, it was a flight simulator for the Star Wars universe with you flying X-Wings and Y-Wings. Amazing game. The sound was incredible for the mid-1990s. But I went round and he demoed the game, and yeah, this is quite impressive. And then he would tell me about the missions at work during break times and what have you. And he came in one day and he said, "Oh, I'm having real problems with this mission. I just can't figure out how to win it. Every time I figure out something else happens." So eventually he came in and he said, effectively what he said was, I put my program ahead on. This is a program. There's no such thing as AI in the mid-1990s. It's all code. And he had basically sat down. He played the mission, and a message would appear, TIE Fighter A1 has destroyed shuttle B2. You failed the mission. So, okay, I have to destroy TIE Fighter A1 before it can destroy shuttle B2. So he would then start it up, start the logging, and his priority target was TIE Fighter A1. And he had to destroy that first. And then he went round randomly destroying other things until another shuttle got destroyed. And it would tell him Shuttle 5 was destroyed by TIE Fighter C3. Okay, so C3 now becomes a priority. And he played this mission multiple times, but he figured out, all I've got to do is figure out what the programmers wrote in the program code in order to defeat this mission. And it worked every time. TIE Fighter A1 always destroyed Shuttle 2. And it was the first shuttle that was destroyed. And all it gave him was, when I play this mission, this is my priority kill list. I have to kill these things in this sequence in order to not lose. And he started doing that for every mission in the game. But it boils down to, if I'm playing Farming Simulator, I'm trying to play realistically based on real life farmers that have YouTube channels. So people like Millennial Farmer, This Farm Wife, Tom Pemberton, sometimes a few others. But outside of that, I play this like it's a computer program. So you plough the fields, you cultivate the fields, you plant the fields. Oh, you probably need to mulch before you plough. and you draw up a sequence of things you need to do to get it to work in the game, not to get it to work in real life. So there are some things we do in Farming Simulator that real life farmers don't necessarily do in that sequence of events, but to get the best return, best yield, whatever, you need to do those things in that sequence in order to play the game. So yeah, if I find a thing's not working, then okay, how have the programmers coded it to work in this version of the game? It used to work that way in Farm Sim 17. It doesn't work in Farm Sim 25 the same way. There are differences in the code. What did Giants do to make it different? There are better people than me out there doing these sorts of things. Which button do I press? That one? Ooh, yeah. So yeah, at the end of the day, this is a computer program which puts pretty shapes on the screen that look like farming equipment, and you get out there and you're a fake farmer in a virtual world. But all of it is, I can't remember which, there it is. Are we full? I guess we're, oh no, we don't go that way. Anyway, I think I bought way too much fertilizer, but that's fine. So yeah, just play the game. But it's like questions that come up. My general rule is you need more horsepower than the equipment requires. Now we could look at an example. I'm sure this piece of equipment doesn't have an example. Oh look, there's a little tractor. There's a thing, and oh, a bean harvester. Shame we didn't plant beans. If we go here, for example, these do not have horsepower requirements. If we go, here, 200 horsepower. There we go. 150, 150. 170. Now, 200 horsepower. Do not run that on a 200 horsepower tractor, because this is drawing 200 horsepower to operate all of its bits and drag it through the dirt and everything else. You don't have enough horsepower left to move the tractor. So typically you always need a little bit extra horsepower on what you're doing, but depending on how steep the map is, that can be even more of an issue. So am I going to be able to do the entire width of this? Ooh, I don't know. This gets wider as it goes down, so we'll do the best we can. So even back in Farm Sim 17, I quickly learned I had a 396 horsepower hauling a combination set of mowers that needed 230. And there were some hills on that map that the tractor, you could tell it was straining, but it was capable of moving. So what you're initially watching for is, okay, the operating speed of this piece of equipment is 7 miles an hour. If we start going slower, then I've got a problem. It's either the weight of the piece of equipment and the suck of gravity, and quite potentially this tractor is, don't know. This tractor I think is about 210 horsepower. So it might be that the weight of all of the fertilizer in the back of this thing is too much for a 210 horsepower tractor to haul. So maybe I need a bigger tractor to make it all work at 7 miles an hour. Now, the other thing to check on is when you're doing this is to position yourself here and run real close and see if the wheels are slipping. If the wheels are slipping, you can fix that with wider tyres, a front weight, wheel weights at the back, or some other thing that will assist more traction, because it's not that you don't have enough horsepower, it's that you can't transfer the horsepower that you have into the ground. And every release of Farming Simulator changes those rules. The math that is used to calculate things. So here I'm spraying, I want narrow tyres because I don't really want to destroy the crops. So if this is slipping, then I've got a problem, but the solution might be, let's pull to the end here and then I can turn this off. Okay, there we go, that's done. We can fold both of those up. So maybe what I need to do is medium tractor, John Deere 6R145, is to pick this. I could go with these wider tyres. I could go with, did they get wider there? Rear twin wheels. So I could put twin wheels on it. That'll give me a whole lot more traction. Then we can go to narrow tyres. These are the sort of thing I have installed. Or maybe I have row crop. I don't know. Row crop 30-inch. But then you could do that. Now I've doubled the traction on the back wheels. I could do... Oh, I can't do... Sometimes you can get doubles front and back. On this sort of tractor, you could do doubles front and back and it would help because we've got four-wheel drive here. If I was looking at something like this, putting duals on the front makes absolutely no difference because all my power is coming from the engine just into the rear tyres. So that's, things that you can play with, but it's things that a programmer is looking at is, oh, I have exceeded power versus traction versus tyres. How do what can I do to change that mathematic? And I have 3 vehicles running. Liquid fertilizer, an 8R, no, a 6R, and the Puma. Okay, that's fine. The Puma is rowing, he's still got ways to go. The 250 is somewhere over there doing weeding, and we're doing spraying. And the reason I'm driving, so I got my foot to the floor. 11 miles an hour is as fast as I can go with the crop sensors turned on. Since I'm only going down the road, I can't be bothered to turn them off. All right, let's unfold that again. Oh, I'm an idiot. Let's fold it up, shift, fold, everything. Gradually remembering that if you press the shift button, it does all the things to all the equipments. Unfortunately, the crop sensors are not sort of a standard piece of equipment. So the on-off button for those is not the standard on-off button. But outside of that, with the mowers, I pressed it, shift unfold and it would unfold them all. Shift lower, it would lower them both. Shift turn, activate, and it would turn them both on. Which is useful when you remember it. Sometimes I forget, so you know what it is. This field is very, very poor in base nitrogen, so we are fixing this quite significantly. As I said, I think I've got way more spray than I need, although April is planting corn and soybean time, and soybean don't need any help. Corn, I think, has about a 200 kilos per hectare, so that's maximum addition of spray, which is going to drain the tanks extremely quickly, or the tank extremely quickly. It is what it is. How's my humidifier? Is still got a good supply of water in it, so no problem there. Let's try and light it up. There we go. Drive in a straight line. See how that gets us. But I'm pleasantly surprised that cotton doesn't need a significant amount of stuff. Nitrogen. What's it looking at? It's about 80. It's about 90 to 100 kilos per hectare, so it's not a lot. As you can see, we go around here. We're not emptying the tanks significantly. Oh, I blew that turn. Let's turn that off and back it up. Oh no, I think, no. Switch to the thing on the back, and let's fold this up because I've really messed that up. There we go. I should be able to unfold it away from the tree. And let it lower. Just a tiny little bit at the back there. Now that we're relatively straight, I should be able to fix that. Boop, 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 yeah. Okay, off we go. Looks like I missed a bit on the far side. Doesn't matter, I think so long as we get most of this, we're good. And the map does not match the field because the fields were redrawn with the first map update. And it was suggested that you should probably start a new game save if you update the map. And I didn't because I ignore those recommendations. So the result is that some precision jobs on fields aren't as precise as you'd like them to be. You can fix it. And I did on that field, those two fields next to us there. I took a plough to the outside of the field, and that looks, because the plough was actually running a little bit wider than the defaulted part of the field, it it updates both the map and the visuals that you see for the field. So that just fixes everything, or at least all of the obvious things. So there is an option. You can just plow once around the field. You don't even have to plow the whole field. You just have to plow the border, so that the border on the mini map, on the main map, matches the plowed text, the plowed area of the field. Okay, who's sending me messages? Your automatic payment is processed. I should restart my phone. Oh. That. Oh, I